And let's have some fun, baby. Yeah!
And we're rolling, baby. We're going to go over my top 14 tips on how to improve your consistency. And then the icing on the cake is at the very end, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can practice this and actually implement it into your golf game. So here we go. Let's get started. Tip number 1 is posture. You've got to have good posture to give you any chance at consistency, because if you don't maintain your posture or you have crap posture to begin with, it's really hard to have a consistent rotational golf swing because you're going to compensate. So here's the easiest thing to do to improve posture. Most of us are rounded from the beginning. So one finger on each hand, one finger goes in your belly button, one finger goes on your chest. Pull your belly button in, raise your chest up. Keep pulling that belly button in, raise your chest up, keep pulling the belly button in, raise your chest up. Keep breathing as you're doing that. So now, this is a good side view here, okay? So instead of being rounded here, now my chest is up and my belly button's pulled in so that I'm not arching my low back. So I've got good posture, right? Now, tip number 2 is maintain your posture as you're getting down to the golf ball. So here's what most people do to get down to the golf ball, is they kind of just round to get down to the golf ball. They kind of just fall to get to the golf ball. And you completely lose your posture. So here's what we're going to do. We already got our chest up, belly button in, so now we're in good posture. I'm going to grip the club. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock my knees and think about shutting a door with my butt, okay? So unlock my knees, shut the door with my butt as the club head is falling down to the golf ball. This is for practice purposes, right? So we're just learning how to maintain posture as we're going down to the golf ball. So by reaching my butt back, that's how I get down to the golf ball. I don't fall down to the golf ball. Chest up, belly button in, unlock your knees, shut the door with your butt to get down to the golf ball. Now, number 3, once you get into the address position, you've got to engage your core. Main reason is that we're not good enough or athletic enough to engage it in the half a second that it takes once you're initiating the backswing and getting down to the downswing, because we're not on TV. We are not elite athletes. Those that are on TV getting paid to play the game, they can get away with it. We mere mortals, we can't. So once we get into the address position, we're going to engage the core by gently pulling the belly button in more, right? So I'm pulling it in, I'm still breathing, but now my core is engaged. It's so important to keep the core engaged. Step number 4, tip number 4 is get the muscles working in your foot, specifically your right foot. So the way that we're going to do this is just a stress ball, right? A stress ball that looks like a big golf ball. So I'm going to put the stress ball, here's the middle of my foot right here. Here's the big toe joint right here. So middle of my foot, big toe joint, I'm going to put it right in the middle of that. So not under my arch, not under the big toe joint, right in the middle of that. Just like that. So now, you can see the floor and everything good? So now, I'm in the address position. Core is engaged. And I'm going to think about smashing this ball without letting this knee buckle in. This is so important. Don't let your knee buckle in to smash the ball. This is going to take some effort, some time to connect your brain to these muscles in your feet. So think about smashing the ball without letting your knee buckle in, okay? Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get tip number 5, engage your glutes. Okay, so we did core, engage your core. Then we engage the muscles in our feet. Next thing we're going to do is engage your right glute, specifically your right glute. So in the address position, I'm smashing the stress ball. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about pushing my entire foot through the ground. Think about if your foot was on sand right now and you're trying to push your foot through the sand, keeping your core engaged, keeping the pressure on that squish ball, you should start to feel your right glute starting to kick in. This is so important. So now we got core engaged, we got your foot engaged, and now we've got your glute engaged. Okay, next thing. Tip number 6 is initiate the backswing with the belt buckle. This is where so many amateurs go wrong, is you're initiating the backswing with your hands. The reason why this is so important, to initiate the backswing with your belt buckle, not your hands, is because whatever moves first, that's what you're telling your brain is the primary mover of the golf swing. So if you move your hands first, you're telling your brain your hands are the primary mover of the golf club. So when you get to the top of the backswing, your brain thinks that this is the primary mover, so no matter how hard you try to swing the golf club with your body, your brain is going to initiate with your hands. You're going to come over the top, you're going to flip at it, whatever it is, it's not going to be right. So we've got to initiate the backswing with the belt buckle. Think about keeping your hands and your belt buckle in alignment for as long as you possibly can throughout the backswing. Right there, my hips run out of room. My hands are still directly in front of my belt buckle. From there, I just keep rotating, right? So initiate with the belt buckle. Initiate with the belt buckle. Tip number 7 is maintain width. Maintain width of the arc, because the bigger the arc is, the faster the club head is going to go, right? So most people do this and start to fold your arms and your hands around your body and flip the elbow back. So now my hands are super close to my chest right here. Super close. So I did not maintain the width of the arc. What you want to think about doing is keeping your hands away from your chest, as far away from your chest as you can. So this is maintaining the width of the arc, right? Maintain the width of the arc versus what so many people do, which is bring the freaking hands back here. So now the arc is much smaller, okay? Now, tip number 8 is maintain your core and your glute activation throughout the backswing. Here's what we're going to do. Belly button's engaged. Foot is engaged. Glute is engaged. As I go into the backswing, I am going to exaggerate squatting my right hip, my right glute backwards to train my brain what it feels like. Remember, this is training purposes. We're not doing this when we're hitting the golf ball. So as I go into the backswing, I'm going to exaggerate squatting into the backswing so that I can push my foot through the ground even harder, keeping my knee bent, because the wrong thing to do is straighten your knee as you go into the backswing. Now you can't fire your glutes at all. So belly button's engaged, slowly go into the backswing, initiating with a belt buckle, and then exaggerate squatting into the backswing so that your brain can feel, I can feel my glute firing like crazy right now. Number 9, keep your left elbow straight. It's so important. This is one of the lowest hanging fruits on so many amateur golfers, is keeping your left elbow straight throughout the backswing. As soon as that thing bends, you're adding an additional moving part, an additional moving piece to this already super complicated motion, which is the golf swing. Less moving parts is better. The way we're going to do it is think about the knuckles in your left hand. There's my target. I'm going to think about taking my left knuckles directly away from the target and push my knuckles away from the target. So if that's my target, as I go into the backswing, I'm pushing my knuckles away from the target. That's going to help keep that left elbow straight, because if you're thinking about lifting the club, you're going to bend the elbows. But if you're thinking about pushing the knuckles away from the target, it's going to help you keep that elbow straight. Here we go. Push the knuckles away from the target. This takes us right into number 10. What do we do with the chicken wing? There's a lot of different opinions out there on keeping it tucked, put a towel underneath the right elbow, keep it glued to your side. My thought is, from a biomechanics standpoint, if we're going, this is tip number 10, as we go into the backswing, if we let this elbow flare, it naturally creates the reverse C. It naturally makes me want to reverse and curve backwards because the elbow's coming up. The closer you can keep the elbow to your side, I'm not saying glue it to your side or put a freaking towel under it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm going for a strictly biomechanics standpoint. The closer you keep that right elbow to your side, the more it will allow you to just rotate, versus as soon as that elbow comes out, it allows you to extend and do the reverse C. So keeping that elbow as close to your side won't allow you to do the reverse C. Now, this one sounds simple, yet so many amateur golfers do it, especially over the age of 60. Keep your freaking head still throughout the backswing. I don't care about you lifted your damn head up and you did this, because that's a result of something else. Think about keeping your head still throughout the backswing. The way I do it is I pick out something on the golf ball. So a Titleist golf ball, I'm just going to look at the tee, and I'm going to fixate my vision on that tee, and then go into the backswing thinking about that tee the whole time, and just really thinking about that tee. So that allows me to keep my head focused on a specific spot so that I don't sway into the backswing, right? Now, number 12, tip number 12. How do we initiate the downswing? Here's one of the easiest things to do. Once you get to the top of the backswing, think about initiating it with your belt buckle. That's simple. Not easy. It is simple. Now, Case, our PGA pro, told me this, and it makes perfect sense. If you think about the golf swing in as simplest form as possible, really all it is you're rotating and lifting, so then you just need to drop and rotate back. You just need to undo it. We just make it super complicated. So let's see if we can practice it. I'm going to rotate and lift. Now to get back to the golf ball, I'm going to drop and rotate back. It's that simple, right? Not easy. It is that simple. Here's what we're going to think about. Core's engaged, foot's engaged, glutes engaged, keeping the width, pushing my knuckles away from the target. Now I'm going to drop my hands simultaneously as I'm rotating my belt buckle. It's almost like I'm squatting my hips backwards as I'm rotating my belt buckle. The reason why that's important, this is more of a technical thing, is it's giving you room to shallow the golf club, versus if you just rotate, then it doesn't give you the room and you come in steeper and you have to sometimes do the early extension. We did that video a couple of weeks ago. So here we go. Tip number 12. Squat, rotate the belt buckle as the hands are dropping so that we can have room to come through the golf ball. Number 13 is something that nobody thinks they're doing, yet 25% of the people that I've worked with over the years are doing. Dancing your left foot at some point in the golf swing. You've got to keep the left foot planted, not loaded, just planted. There's not a whole lot of weight on the left foot. I just can't have it dancing. I can't have it doing things because remember, from a biomechanical standpoint, think about this. You're telling your brain you want to get all your weight on the right side, and then really quickly you want to get all your weight on the left side. If during that transition of going to the left side, your left foot is dancing, your heel's up, you're doing something, your brain knows that there is an unstable surface on the left side. So it's not going to allow you to transfer your weight to the left side because it knows that it's not safe. So it's going to force you to stay on your right side, keep your weight on the right side because it knows there's nowhere for it to go. Remember, this happens in a split second. Split second, way faster than you can cognitively think about it. So take a slow motion video of your swing and see, does your foot dance during the backswing? Does it dance during the downswing? Does it move? Period. You've got to keep the left foot stable throughout the entirety of the golf swing. Last tip, number 14, is finish with your belt buckle to the target and at least 95% of your weight on the left foot. You've got to be able to dance the right foot or you didn't get over there. When you're dancing your left foot, chances are when you finish, you are not 95% on the left, 5% on the right. You won't be able to dance your right foot because you got too much weight on it and you'll fall, right? So what we want to think about doing is finish with the weight all the way on the right or left side so that you can dance the right foot. Belt buckle is pointing to the target. That was exhausting. 14 tips on how to improve your consistency. Make sure you go back and watch this, take notes. Now the next part is going to be 5 tips on how to practice this and actually implement it into your golf game. Tip number 5 is going to be the most valuable tip. So make sure you wait for number 5. Number 1, grip matters. So all of you out there that got these funky grips that you've just adapted over the years and you got all these custom things that are happening, that's already messing with your brain because your brain knows that there's something going on here. I used to use the baseball grip. Back before I was halfway decent, I used to use the baseball grip because it just felt good to me. And Clayton, our director of instruction, when he was giving me a lesson one day, he said, "Have you ever seen anybody on tour use the baseball grip?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Why do you think that is?" I said, "I don't know. You're the pro." And he goes, "When your hands are separated like this, it tells your brain that there's 2 moving objects here. When you interlock them or you connect them somehow, it tells your brain that it's just 1 unit. So it helps you simplify things." Now, this is a technical thing. It's not up to me to tell you how to fix your grip, strong, weak, interlocking, overlapping, whatever it is. The thing that I am going to tell you is, most of the time it is a low-hanging fruit. Have somebody change your grip. Get one of those grip things off the internet that says that you just put your hands on it and it fixes your grip. Do something. Don't overlook the importance of your grip. Number 2, shoes matter. I'm wearing Olakais. It's the Hawaiian brand of golf shoes, or Olakais is a Hawaiian brand of shoes. And the reason why I like Olakais is because there's no support in these things. I mean, these things just bend and twist, and that allows my foot to actually work. It allows my toes to splay and the muscles in my feet to actually help me perform the golf swing. Olakais might not work for you. If you don't go barefoot like I do all day, every day, then you might not like these shoes because there's no support at all. The point of the matter is that you should always test yourself in your shoes to make sure you have the right shoes. We have a whole separate video on that, like a 15-minute long video on which shoes are best for you and how to test them. Number 3, which leg you use to tee up the ball matters. So think about this. If I'm going to go tee up the ball right here and I use my left leg and I do that 18 times a game, it's re-emphasizing my brain to use my left big muscles in my left leg. But if you simply just change it up and tee up the ball with your right leg, I'm not going to lean on the golf club. I'm going to use muscles in my right leg to tee the ball up. What it's doing is it's telling my brain to use the right leg. And it helps re-emphasize, oh, the right leg, because that's where the power comes from, the right side. So make sure you're teeing the ball up with your right leg. Number 4, tempo. You gotta be kidding me. Tempo is the biggest killer, right? Here's one of the easiest things that I learned over the years. Depending on how complex your name is, say your first name and middle name throughout the backswing, and then last name into the downswing. So my name by birth is Michael Jacob Berman. So what I do is I think about Michael Jacob taking me to the top of the backswing and then Berman for the downswing. Say it out loud. Trains your brain quicker to get the tempo because most of you are going to be hitting the golf ball halfway through your middle name. So let's see if we can execute it. Michael Jacob Berman, right? Michael Jacob Berman. Michael Jacob Berman. And it really forces you to have a really good tempo. Remember, we don't hit the golf ball on the backswing. So slow it down. Say it out loud, hear yourself do it, fix your tempo. Last thing, tip number 5 on how to practice this and actually implement it into your golf game. This is arguably the most important tip, so really focus. Use the 95-5 rule, meaning that as you're practicing and improving your golf game, 95% of the time should be done without ever hitting a golf ball. Only 5% of the time that you're practicing should be used banging golf balls. Here's why it's so important. As soon as you put a little white thing in front of you and you know that the goal is to hit it and see a result that occurs from it, your brain immediately shifts from focusing on the process of getting to the right place over and over again with the right movements and the right muscles. It shifts from focusing on the process to the result. What just happened? I just shanked it. I just topped it. Whatever it is, your brain fixates on the result and not the process. Everybody should be able to relate with this. I can't tell you, when I first started the first time I ever got professional lessons from a golf pro, it frustrated the crap out of me because I immediately started getting worse results on the driving range, but the frickin' pro kept saying, that was better, that was better. And I'm going, what do you mean that was better? Look at what's happening. The ball isn't going anywhere. And he goes, I don't care where the ball's going. I care about what your mechanics look like, your swing path, your swing plane, all those things. Trust the process. So when you use a 95-5 rule, meaning that 95% of the time, just focus on biomechanics. Just train your brain over and over again. See if you can do 100 reps of this in a row. See if you can do it. chances are you're going to get to 20 and you're going to get fatigued. That means you don't have good endurance. You don't have good strength and, well, endurance. You probably got the strength, just don't have endurance. So keep doing it. Get to the point to where you can do this 100 times in a row. Keep breathing. You should be sweating by the time you get to the end. This is going to train your brain to get to the same place over and over again. Then just go to the next part. Impact. Squatting, getting the belt buckle, moving away. Squatting, get the belt buckle moving away as the hands are dropping so that I make room. I'm shallowing the golf club to make room so that I can actually swing it through, okay? Just do it over and over again without a golf ball there so that you can train your brain on what it should feel like. Train your brain on which muscles you should be using, because those are the muscles that you need to be on automatic or autopilot so that you can go up there and just execute a golf shot. You don't want to be thinking about this stuff. Chunky monkey off the toe, freaking exhausted. Neither here nor there. That's your tips right there. 14 tips on how to improve your consistency. They're progressive all the way throughout the entirety of the golf swing. And then 5 bonus tips on top of it on how to practice it and actually implement it into your golf game. Number 5 is arguably the most important, 95-5. Make sure you like and subscribe this. Comment on this. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this helps. Put in the time and effort. There's no quick fix. Nobody on my wall over here had a quick fix. Everybody on this wall went through 24 hours of grueling, brutal training in here, training their body again. 24 sessions, hour-long sessions. Then they got their names on the board. Put the time in. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think, baby. Yeah.